You see the boys become champions.
Good evening and welcome to Celtic Rumours TV, episode 141 of the Bawz and Bovril podcast. Your host, me, Mark. The night of Jerry, Campsie boy from our forums, joined us again tonight. Paul's still on the injured list, so Jerry stepped into the breach again. I think Terence might come on later if he feels up to it. I'm not sure how what he's going to be doing. First of all, the links to all our forum and everything is in the description box below through the link tree. But you could, every Celtic fan is more than welcome to come over there to our forum, get joined in the crack on there. A few shout outs to some of the lads for there. Richie, Tim Alloy's not keeping too well. Obviously, Paul and Terence isn't keeping too well. And Mikey, see that weather up that neck of the woods, Jerry? Mikey, he'd eventually got him stayed at his mother-in-law's for a wee while.
A few of the boys asking.
He'd no electricity for Thursday, and that because of that storm, and then he eventually get back into the house today, and there's been water damage to the house and all that, so I hope he gets that sorted out, Mikey, mate. See who's in the live chat now. Jabber in the big shite bag again. Liam, thanks very much for joining us again, mate. Liam, nice to see you. I'm doing well, mate. Thanks very much. Grot bags, nice to see you. We'll just go on with the chat. Obviously, what did you think of the game today then, Jerry?
It was a very good performance for me. Some of the football was brilliant, mate. Matt O'Reilly, outstanding. Glides about that part, and it's no off now serious. I agree with that. That rat, Boyd, I think he's going to be the next one. It's going to be off and running for big money, unfortunately. Front to back, I thought we were brilliant. I say the one-touch passing was fantastic, and O'Reilly's goal was something else. No complaints for me today, that's for sure.
No, that's what it's fault. I mean, it's nitpicking, but I thought McGregor had a bit of a quiet game. But again, it's nitpicking. He done his job. The midfield ran the show, so he obviously done his job. But I'd like to see him getting a wee bit more involved in the attacking side of the game. Do you know what I mean? But maybe that's what O'Reilly's doing, and that's how he's scoring the goals that he is. But O'Reilly's just he just seems to really have bought into Rodgers. I mean, we've spoke about it before. I don't know if we've spoke about it with you, but looking back for what he said for Ange left, I don't think he was entirely. I don't think he wasn't actually enamoured with him with some of the stuff he said. Do you know what I mean? I think the personal touch for Rodgers, the more into the man management side, I think that's really hurt him with O'Reilly. I mean, people are saying he'll be the next big money man to leave. I mean, he's under contract to something like 2026, 2027 or something. So if there's people coming in from this summer, it's going to be some serious dough, in my opinion.
Well, it was just when we were reading, there was the talk about, I hope it's not true, Christie, end of the season, his contract's running out, and I'd seen Kev and Buzz and all that had been talking about Christie's stats were unreal. To be honest, 150 games, 45 assists, 40 odd goals. Good stats, but however, footballing wise, Christie was a good player for us. His last season, I think he was trying to get into the rugby team. But no, the way O'Reilly, what a football player, good all rounder. Gets about that pitch, and that goal today was something else. See to take that the way he took it, first time, never broke his stride, fantastic.
Some pass for Palmer as well.
No half. I genuinely thought he'd be away in the summer. I thought he would win away, but I think it's the Rodgers touch. I think Rodgers has talked him round, because I thought I'd heard that he'd want to disappear back down south with his bird or whatever it was, and that was him. He was going to be off, and I wouldn't have, it sounds daft at the time. I don't know if I'd have been majorly disappointed. I'd have been
Aye, I know what you
down
mean.
to the left, but I thought, well, if he wants to go, he can go. But see now, if he to leave now January in the summer, I think I'd be gutted because I think he's a wonderful player.
Aye, I mean, he's my kind of man crush player. Do you know what I mean? But
Aye.
last season, I totally agree with you. He wasn't the player that we saw in his first season here.
Aye.
And last season was a bit of a low. I don't think I would have been that bothered. But obviously, it depends who we've got to replace him with. But I mean, I'm glad that he stayed because I mean, see if we could keep him for another 2 or 3 years. See, like him and McGregor. Well, hopefully Hatate stays as well. I mean, that's a good midfield to have going forward. But in Scotland, do you know what I mean? I still think we need a proper CDM in Champions League. Evening, Martin. Thanks very much for coming in, mate. Bobby, nice to see you, bud.
Aye, for me, he's going to go on. And with Rodgers, they're only going to improve. I mean, I've seen it a live chat today. A couple of folk were asking about maybe going this league campaign unbeaten. For us, being the way it started and the start of the season with injuries and all the rest of it, I mean, I don't think there was. I mean, we weren't confident going to Ibrox to play them. Scales at the back, umpteen of them injured, not off for them. But now we're getting bodies back. The football's good. We're starting to click, and hopefully we just start to get through the gears and leave all the rest of them behind.
Definitely. As you say, we're only going to get better.
Aye.
I mean, I'm more than happy with the centre back partnership of Carter, Vickers, and Scales. Now, more than happy with it. I know some people are still aren't quite still convinced with Scales, but for me, he's hardly put a fit rank if he's coming into the team. And that, for me, that position in jerseys has to lose.
Aye, well, when I had seen originally when Scales came back, I think I'd said to Mark, to Paul, on the Discord group, there's no chance that Scales is ever going to get in that Celtic team. There's well to punt him, but see now he's one of the first names on that team sheet. He's getting composed in the ball. His confidence is through the roof. He likes a tackle, win a header. When we were going to Ibrox, it was my old boy. I was arguing with him over the fact they're going to be playing Scales. I think we're going there. And he had said to me there was no chance that you're going to have an Irishman get into that environment is going to let you down. He was proved right. So he's not put a foot wrong for me. So no, I'm more than happy that he stayed and he's in that team.
I don't even think he's looked to place at the Champions League level.
No. His tackle, I think, was at the Lazio one, man, nearly took the roof off. So no, he's you need to think, considering where he was last season. He was at Aberdeen and now he's playing against the likes of Atletico and Lazio and that the Champions League. So it's all credit for him to knuckling down, persevering and having the balls to go for it. And I think you hear the way Rodgers talks about him. He's only going to make that boy better.
But that's what he does, isn't it, Rodgers?
Aye, that's his kind of his thing. I think he's man management. I mean, you've seen it there with O'Reilly. The way he spoke about him, taking a bad out for a meal, touch of class. The way I think when he came in the first time round, the players and that he improved then. The way he handled things was first class. So I think that's he's a fantastic coach, Rodgers, but he's also he got a decent eye for a player and bringing him on, which is exactly what we need. And I think he does.
I think he does kind of take a bit of kind of personal pride in improving players. You can tell when he's talking about players. He doesn't want them just to get better for him and for Celtic. He's wanting them to get better for themselves. And if if they become that good that they're too good to stay in Scotland, that's fair dues. He's done his job for that player. Do you know what I mean? And bringing them in.
Of course, I've got absolutely no qualms with that at all. Obviously, players are always wanting to test themselves at a higher level. We're all Celtic fans and expect every player that comes in wanting to stay here for the rest of their days. But unfortunately, that's not the way it happens there. They're looking to unfortunately use us as a stepping stone to get down to the riches down south, which if they're doing the job here, fair dues. But there's no and then. I mean, likes O'Reilly, we brought him in for I don't know what it was we got him for, but it's nothing, pennies.
No, I think it was about 1.5 million, wasn't it?
Aye,
Just
well, that's
about that.
I mean, that's what the kind of business model was, if you like, try to buy these younger players at that sort of money, get them the platform to improve and progress, and then sell them on for a kind of profit. And then hopefully they're going to reinvest that money back into the squad. So it's served as well to know. But you need a decent coach like Rodgers leading the charge if that's the route you're going to go down.
I mean, that kind of evening, Patrick. Thanks very much for coming in, mate. Nice to see you. I mean, even see at that price. I mean, even the new we're talking the new about O'Reilly. If somebody came in, you're at least talking like you're going to get 20 times your money for him.
Aye.
At least easily.
Aye. It'd have been more if they got to represent England, but I see he's Danish now, so.
Aye, but see the thing about it is, I've spoken about this on it before. I know most of it is, he'll get down to England, they'll get down to England, but there's a hell of a lot of Danish players going to Germany and places like that. Do you know what I mean? The Germans seem to be all the kind of Scandinavian, kind of watching all their players. So I think maybe he could end up getting a move to one of the big German teams because they're always sniffing about the Danish and the Swedes and people like that.
Aye, definitely. Okay, wherever he goes. I mean, as you say, I hope he's here for another couple of seasons, mate. But when he does go, it'll be for big bucks. And I just hope that they're not trying to replace. I know that they could. I don't think they're take the 15 or whatever it is million for your man O'Reilly and try and get signed Christie again. But I think he's maybe wanting another wee crack at the Premiership.
I know. I mean, Christie was a good player for us. He wasn't a great player, but he was a good player. And I kind of felt sorry for him. He used to take some knocks. I think when he first came back for Aberdeen, mind I kind of took many times his eye and stuff like that, and he had to get down for the stand to make sure he was all right and stuff like that. You never want to see things like that, but I mean, he was a good player for us. But I don't like going back the way. Do you know what I mean?
No, I agree, Tyler. I don't think returns in football. I know we need to watch. We've got Rodgers back, but in football, returns seldom ever work, especially with players anyway. You always think back to the way they were. Or, he was a yard faster, or he'd have controlled that, or caught that, or finished that. I'm not really one for going back the way either. But he's
probably a better player. Christie's probably a better player now. I mean, do you know what I mean? He's been doing it in England for a few years and that kind of thing. So he maybe be a better player. But again, is he going to take us to? Is he going to help Celtic get to the next level? No.
That's how the midfield we've got with Hatate, McGregor, and O'Reilly. I mean, I know I'm there myself wanting this CDM, but it's who do you drop to put that CDM in? Because Maeda, you automatically think, but see the work that boy puts in.
I know
it's frightening, but the whole teamwork card. I mean, you've seen Hatate the day gave away a couple of loose passes, but he's right back in trying to win that ball back. But even like Taylor, the whole teamwork card, and that's when we say we want to go into Europe and put a CDM. It's who you drop and what formation you get into to put one of these CDMs in. I'm glad it's not my decision or choice to try and drop him.
But even in saying that, I mean, the last two games in Europe, we've not been outclassed with him.
No, especially
the Lazio game. I mean, an away game, you're not really expecting. You're hoping for a draw when you're going away, but there's no really much chance of that. Do you know what I mean? But and the sending off's killed his own Feyenoord in the free kick just before half time. If we get into half time, nothing each, and kept 11 men in the park, who knows what would have happened? But the Lazio game, that was a right sickener for me. A proper CDM or that in there wouldn't have made any difference. So maybe Rodgers has come up with some tweak to hit the way we're going to be playing the game that's like beyond our comprehension, that covers that we've not got a proper CDM in there. Do you know what I mean?
What about the boy Awata? Where would you see him? What position is he?
Well, I'd put him in that CDM role.
He's tidy. I like Awata. See the time he came on last season against the Huns. I thought he had a great game, and I thought he would have kicked on. But any time he comes on, for me, he gets the ball, does the simple thing, breaks up play. And I can't remember. It doesn't give away too many passes. And I like him, but it's who you pull out the team to put in there. That's the problem. And you know what Celtic fan, I mean, in Europe it's a bit different. You want a CDM, maybe want a CDM, but when you're playing in Scotland and all the rest of it, you're not wanting a holding midfielder.
No, we can get away with that domestically. I mean, even playing the Ibrox mob, do you know what I mean?
Oh, aye, no, you play them after, but they're back to being world beaters now.
Aye, we won.
Aye,
So
well, exactly.
Do you think we could get through the league undefeated?
Well,
I mean, it is a big ask, but
it's a long season, and Scottish football, anything can happen. You know that. Ask me after this St Mirren game. I think that'll be tricky. Ask me after that, and I think we'll wait and see. Not that I think they're going to be up to much, but I wouldn't be too surprised if we did. I say it's a tall order for the league, but I wouldn't be.
But mind it still draws will still count as undefeated.
Aye,
do you know what
exactly,
I mean? That's it. Aye.
That's it.
I just
So,
for me
it's a long season. It's a hard task.
If they do get beat, but it'll be a freak result, I think.
Aye, okay, you know, I mean, it can happen. Or another dodgy VAR decision. It's not as if we've had any of them against us. So I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen. However, it is a tall ass grinding out a result every week. So we'll wait and see. What about yourself? Do you think we'll do it?
I'm the same as you. I think the squad's capable of doing it, and I think the manager's capable of doing it. But as you say, freak results happen, VAR decisions and stuff like that. But on paper, I don't see what Stockman's doing it.
No. What about when we play them with this ticket decision? Are you happy with that, Mark?
Well, as I said, I'd leave that up to guys that go to games and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Whether they want them in Celtic Park and stuff like that. I mean, I'm sitting watching the telly, and it does it does mess up that. The atmosphere isn't quite the same and stuff like that. But if you're at the game and they carry on after it, trying to get home and avoiding them and stuff like that, if you're there and you don't want them there, I'll stick by you. But if you want them there for the atmosphere, I'll stick by you with that as well. I think the board's doing the right thing. Do you know what I mean? Because but it's like now it's getting painted as if it's some kind of standoff between Celtic and Rangers, but they started it. Celtic only reacted to what they done.
Yep.
We done nothing. We done nothing wrong.
I agree.
And it's up to them. It's up to Rangers to come out and say, right, we'll need to get us sorted before next season or whatever. But I don't think they're going to do it. See, while we're dominating the way we are, I don't think they'll get any interest in doing it.
No, I don't understand how some of these weird teams have jumped on the bandwagon now. When you watch the game, you look at the empty seats.
How much money did Hearts lose the other day?
Oh, for what? I mean, I know boys that go to all the away games that never get their tickets for this because the allocation was cut again. And you think to yourself, what he's gaining here? He's losing money to try and please the fans that you do have gone to the games. If you're filling your stadium, I'd understand. But you look around some of them, the empty seats and fair dues. But no, I enjoy when you beat them. You've got them hemmed in that stadium. They've got to listen to us partying. But see, in all honesty, if we never had to play them again, or never have any of their fans in their stadium again, I'd be over the moon.
Aye.
Business-wise, it doesn't make sense, I know, but it's just that's the way I am. Sorry.
And it's obviously again, it's down to the guys that run Scottish football as well, isn't it?
Aye.
I mean, they've not got a pair of Bawz at the top level of that Hampden at all. Do you know what I mean? They've just even getting back to that carry on with that Cinch sponsorship. I see they're pulling out early because of the carry on with Rangers and stuff like that. That should never be allowed to happen. Can you imagine a team doing in the pub league trying to do that?
Okay, I know we're a laughing stock, but you wonder where the Scottish football gets off these idiots that are meant to be running the game for the good of the Scottish people. I don't know. I can't understand where they pulled them for.
I mean, that Cinch, I didn't even have a clue who they were when they were announced as a sponsor.
No.
So it's not as if I've got big blue chip companies banging the door down to try and.
No,
do you know what I mean?
Pennies, they're no interest. Nobody's interested in the Scottish game. That's the problem. I mean, look at the offered peanuts. think they were the buttons that were trying to offer us before Sky, if anything. And we've got to scrape the barrel to get Sky TV deals and Scottish Cup deals, League Cup deals. No, it's and then the only reason I knew about them was because of the carry on with the Huns. Sure, that carry on. I wouldn't have known since. You wouldn't have known nothing about them unless it was that carry on with the monkeys. And
it's just again down to like the way guys promote, the guys that are run our game, like are promoting it and stuff like that. Because well, it's as if they just accept, or we're just wee Scotland, we'll just take what anybody gives us. Exactly. For me, that's the kind of attitude they've got.
Aye, definitely.
Even in Northampton, Tim, thanks very much for coming in again, mate. Nice to see you, bud.
What about the Bawz Atletico? Did you see their game at the weekend?
No.
Probably for the better. They're a decent side.
Did they look good? Aye.
The spells they seen them, or I had seen them. They looked a right good side, but Simeone's always had a kind of decent side, and you know what you're getting. There's going to be indicative of him, the way he is.
So. Got the dirty rolling about in it, playing for fouls, and well, they're the dirtiest team, one of the dirtiest teams getting about. I noticed with that heart, and I bammed up this wee guy. I thought every time I've saw him against Celtic, he's impressed us. But no, what I noticed today with him, that wee Devlin, the Australian boy.
Aye.
Naismith's got into his seed, and he's turned into a wee dirty wee he's turned into a wee rat, I know, hasn't he?
Aye. Yep.
Even in terms.
He was in there trying to upset that apple cart right enough. Hatate ran over him last season.
Aye.
And I think they said he still had that, and he said he was still trying to get in about it. Him and Hatate were having a few wee niggles, but no, he's not my cup of tea. He's a typical Naismith kind of player.
No, I'd been impressed with him. I thought he was a good wee player. He was a hard wee player, but he wasn't dirty. I thought, but the day I thought that Naismith kind of get in about him and tell him, get in, try and like master get the dark arts out here and try and get in about this attack and see if we can get a rise at him.
I think his job's in a sticky wicket anyway, is it no?
It should be.
Aye, I think they were talking of him getting the bump. Unfortunately, it's always good to get one on him.
Aye, I hate him. Always hate him.
Aye, well, so him and Boyd, man. I think I'd attack them on sight. Unfortunately, well, I shouldn't be saying that. What's the prediction then on Wednesday night? Watch it behind the couch.
Aye, maybe aye. Put me on the spot there. I'll say that now. I'm not looking forward to it that much, but come Wednesday, I still think like I'm a wee daft 10-year-old boy. Do you know what I mean? I think Celtic can beat anybody. We just need to be there. Do you know what I mean? But it doesn't work like that. Sadly, it'll be a hard game. But I'd probably be happy with a draw. I think at it, Jerry. What do you think?
Aye. I know folk about this and what you talk about. No, I'd bite your hand off for a draw.
Aye.
I really would. I think we really had to beat Lazio the last game, but you never know. You never know. If we could get a draw with them, I'd be over the moon. I'd take it and see what happens. Because I think Lazio will be beating Feyenoord, that's for sure.
I think so. Aye. It's a bit strange saying this because we need to start getting points on the board. But again, on paper, you look at that group, and any team's really capable of beating any of the other teams.
Aye,
you know what I mean? You wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't like to put even a fiver on who I would say would be top of that group come the end of the end of it. Do you know what I mean? No. I don't think it'll be us. Right? I'm not saying that, but like Feyenoord, Lazio, Atletico, Madrid. Do you know what I mean? It could be any one of them that are first, and I think we could. That's 2 games going with no points. I thought we would have had a chance of second, but no.
Aye, I mean, after the first 2 games, you say we've not been outclassed, and that's been an annoying thing. See, if we'd been outclassed, totally outplayed, and all the rest, I'd have held my hands up, said right, fair dues. But see, because we probably should have beat Lazio, we should have done a lot better against Feyenoord, and we are where we are now. It's scunning, and you think to yourself, how does it always go kind of tits up for us in Europe?
Aye,
but when the draw was made, I mean, I was happy with the draw, and I thought, I think we could maybe do something here. A couple of seasons ago, I thought Lazio were outstanding, but they're not the same team. And then when we were drawn against Feyenoord, I had watched their PSV they had played in the qualifiers, the Monkeys, and get put out.
Aye.
I watched that PSV and I thought, Christ, they're knocking that ball about brilliant. Surely they're no better than Feyenoord, and they're better than them. And I was thinking, we're going to have a right tough game. And then we get out there and I thought, do you know something? We've done well, we should have done a lot better. We should have taken something for this game. And then after you play Lazio, you're wondering to yourself, what's happened here? The last 5-10 minutes against Lazio, you're watching it and I couldn't see them scoring. And then they go right up the park, score. And it's the biggest kick in the teeth ever.
Aye,
but
definitely.
Well, I don't know. I think Atletico still do it. I think Atletico top the group. Unfortunately.
It'll probably be them. But we need to start rebuilding our reputation a bit, didn't we?
Aye, it was always teams didn't like coming to play at Parkhead with the noise and the good results. But now we're through a period there where teams were looking forward to coming to Parkhead because they knew it was going to be not an easy game, but they were pretty much in Europe. They were guaranteed a victory. But you want to kind of get back and change that and be playing decent football so you can attract a kind of better player.
I mean, I've spoke to Mikey about this a few times, and Bobby, I don't know if I said evening to you, mate. Thanks very much for coming in, Bobby. Nice to see you, bud. I've spoken about this to Mikey a few times, and I don't care. Celtic fans maybe not like this, but Ibrox, the atmosphere at Ibrox on European nights is a lot more intimidating than it is at Celtic Park. And that's intimidating. And that helps them. I mean, how many teams have went to Ibrox and you're like, no chance they'll beat them, and they managed to pull it out the hat. And I think a big part of that's the crowd. I think it's maybe Celtic have the fans, a lot of fans have. It's more like, I don't know. We'll try and make more like a carnival atmosphere. Do you know what I mean? More like that, rather than actually like toxic and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? I don't mean by toxic. I'm not talking about going like the Turkish. I'm just talking about making it more animosity, whatever it is. I don't know what word I'd even use here. Do you know? And I think that's helped. I think that's helped them a lot in the last couple of years in Europe, and we need to try and maybe get back to that. It's like all that stuff. They never come out and say, that blew me away. I was turning myself. I think I was actually a bit scared out there the night in that. And so, that was a great atmosphere. And that does my nothing. It's going to be at Celtic Park for years. The Barcelona team coming out and all that, they've just ran as ragged on the pitch, and they're turning around and saying, it's great atmosphere, but it's like a wee part in the heat birthday care pish stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Storming Clapton for them.
Stuff. Don't even start me on that. Do you know, no way.
No, I couldn't admit to Mordor being anything more intimidating. I know where you're coming from. You think to yourself, how can these jammy baskets pull it out the bag every time?
Aye.
But I know too many. I wind up too many of these windows that I could turn around and say, their place is more intimidating than ours. But I know it's no down to their good football that they're beating these teams, that's for sure.
I know.
So no, there's got to be something. Did I tell you I went to that St Rock's game last week? Did I tell you anything about that? No.
No, you didn't. I knew you were going to it, and that. You stuff said you were going, but you tried. I said to Jabber I'd have went to that.
It was brilliant. It was me and a couple of other boys that came on the forum and go on the bus. Went to that game last week, and it was good seeing some of the old boys. It was Rudy Vata was at the back playing. I couldn't believe how tall he was. When I was a kid, I used to think he was quite small.
Right.
But he was quite a big guy. And then the bald boy Rogers trips out at half time.
I saw you in the background of one of the pictures.
I had to try and photobomb, do you know what I mean? I was waiting for him to come on and ask for my autograph because I've been on this, but no, it never happened, mate. Never happened. But it was good. I think he's slowly winning all the fans back over.
Singing the Brendan Rodgers song the day, isn't it? I see it all over Twitter and that. Everyone's forgiven and stuff like that now. It's like managers. Everybody's got an opinion on managers, whether you like them, whether you don't. And JFP's even coming round a bit to it. I mean, JFP
I was going to see if he was singing a song.
he was a cheerleader in it. But I mean, John was right against Rodgers coming back. But moaning about it on the internet and stuff, it's not going to make any difference. So you've got to back the guy. Because if he's not doing well, Celtic's not doing well. And that's what we all want. That's what we're all in it for, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? To see Celtic winning and doing well. And when you look at, right, I'd like to have got this guy in, that guy in. But I mean, I'm not just saying it because he is at Celtic and that, but Rodgers is probably a manager that Celtic wouldn't be able to get if he wasn't a Celtic supporter.
Aye, no, I know. I agree entirely there.
The kind of level he was at. Do you know, I mean, everybody's going on about we could have went for this and done this and even going on about Ange. People are forgetting that Brendan Rodgers could have got Spurs job before Ange had even been asked about it.
Yep.
And turned it down. I mean, Brendan Rodgers' plan was to take a year out, spend some time with his wife in that and whatever it is in Spain that they've got their house and stuff like that, and then look at what was available. And the chance to manage Celtic came up. He looked at it and thought, I can't really turn this down again.
I didn't actually think he would come back, Mark. I thought I'd heard them obviously saying it would one day. It'd be a shame if he never got to manage Celtic. I just thought it'd be way too soon. And it wasn't to somebody in the forum kind of said it'd been muted and it kind of gathered pace. But no, I'm as I think I said last time in the forum, the podcast, I'm glad he's here. And then I was listening to him all singing the Brendan Rodgers song today, and I was thinking, right, where's JFP? He's got to be there somewhere.
He'll have been hanging out his window up in Mairdrie, shouting it, singing at the top of his lungs.
Quite right. After the fit by the day, I can't complain. I thought at times we knocked the ball about brilliant. Only I had a couple of times I wanted Johnson pass the ball first time, but he took that extra touch just to be a wee bit quicker. But as I say, that's nitpicking. But no, I'm happy and over the moon, mate. It'll be a different game on Wednesday night. We'll not be doing that, I don't think. No,
could be a backs against the wall shot, isn't it?
We'll see. We'll see what happens, mate. We've got a hard-working team and we try to play football, so that's all we can ask and see if we can take care of it.
I mean, we spoke about Maeda, right? But he doesn't really offer much when he's got the ball, but what he adds to the Celtic team's invaluable. Do you know what I mean? And it's guys like Maeda and that could make a difference. Do you know what I mean? Yep. Kyogo's movement. See if we can get the front three just running. Do you know what I mean? Trying to pull their defence about. That's maybe that's going to be probably our best kind of chances of getting at them. Because if we try to go toe to toe to them, I think we could end up taking a bit of a scudding.
That's the only thing, man. It's Rodgers the last time he was here. I mean, that was our biggest gripe. He always said he didn't want to deviate for his system, but that's other teams' team talk done. If they know how we're going to set up and play every game, then they know how to combat it. But I think the last few games in Europe, he's no tried to go toe to toe, if that makes sense. He has made wee tweaks to the way we're playing.
Well, he got Leicester to the semi that Conference League. I know it's not the European Cup or Champions League, but he's obviously beat teams in Europe to get to that. Aye. So he must have maybe learned to kind of tweak things and knows that he kind of right. I know it because nobody knows the team's limitations better than Brendan Rodgers.
Aye,
he knows what his players are capable of and what they're not capable of doing.
Aye, but as I say, it's somebody. I mean, I think the Barcelona games we played against them, and you think, what we doing? Why are we playing the way? Aye, exactly. Aye, and you think, why are we setting up like this? I'd have 3 goalkeepers in against some of these teams if I could. Do you know what I mean? But is Bobby not had the shout out to tell everybody to hit the like button?
Aye, he was in earlier on doing it. He was in a video games night with his wee laddie, so he put it up earlier on. Evening, Greg. Thanks very much for coming in, mate. Nice to see you. Palmer, I'm excited about Palmer.
Aye. Oh, I was before the last couple of games. I was thinking he's taking Haksabanović's place here. He's just going to come on and some nice wee tricks and flicks and all the rest of it and have the end product. But no, the last few games he came on that Champions League, and then the day, I thought he looked brilliant. He's getting more and more comfortable. Aye, definitely, as Greg's saying.
I mean, see you look up his YouTube videos and that. Why see some of the free kicks in that he scored?
Aye, no,
and it's no, and there's like it's a few of them. It's not as if there's the odd wee one. So you need. I mean, that's something that Celtic's been lacking in it for a long time. I know the actual quality were set pieces and stuff like that. But if you get guys like that, like Palmer, that's hanging about in the park, and that you've got to give him a chance.
Can he hit a penalty?
I was just going to say that.
Aye.
I was just going to say that because that penalty the day for Hatate was.
I couldn't believe it. I was waiting. I was watching the stick, and I'm waiting. I'm thinking, he's going to sky this. And then he hits. I was only using my pallet, was on the phone, and then he hits the post. I think, not even fucking making the keeper safe for 12 yards, man. What's happening here? And then you've got that idiot across the city. It's hit about 100 penalties and scored about 99 of them.
I know.
It's practice. Magic formula.
As Greg saying, do you think they're practicing that first goal in training?
That first goal in training were Riley's?
Aye.
Not a hope in hell, man.
I don't think you could practice. I don't think you could practice that, could you?
Nah, no, definitely no. That ball over the shoulder and taking that in the run first time, it was world class and a very, 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 very hard thing to do.
Aye.
There's no chance to practice that.
I think there's Terence coming on for a wee while.
Good.
Hello, Terence.
Good for talking.
Evening, boys. How are you?
Terence is always in the mood for talking. How are you good, Terence, man? How you feeling now? How you keeping?
Yeah. Still struggling a bit over, to be honest, but still getting there.
You'll be grand, man. You'll be fine. Just take it easy.
That's it, yeah, big time.
Get you back up to your fighting height, wee Hornswoggle.
I don't think I'll ever get that tall.
What do you think of the day, Terence?
I thought they were excellent. I missed the first few minutes, but I saw the highlights obviously after. But I thought they played super. I was saying to Mark there, for me, I know it was slightly maybe not everyone's choice, but I thought McGregor was the weakest again in the middle of the park again today.
Yep.
I thought Hatate, and obviously O'Reilly he's in a different class at the minute, and I have to say I thought Iwata when he came on. I thought he looked for the ball a lot. He made a couple of really good tackles. He done what that holding midfielder is meant to do. Yep. I never agreed that Celtic shouldn't have one. Even in Scotland, I don't agree with it because look at his finish even as well. He's still able to go forward,
Yep.
That was some finish for his goal right enough as well, wasn't it?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was a fantastic finish, Mark. It was absolutely fantastic finish. It was, if Kyogo or somebody or O'Reilly had finished it like that, you'd been waxing lyrical about it. You know what I mean? It's a brilliant finish.
There's Martin saying he thinks Hatate or Maida will hurt us in Europe the amount of times they give the ball away. Worrying.
I agree with Hatate. He does give the ball away a bit too much for my liking. It's not just for the goals today. I thought he was doing it a lot earlier. Me and Jabber were talking about that. I thought even before the goal, he was making a lot of silly, losing the ball too easily in that.
Aye.
But he tries to play a lot of first-time passes, though, Mark. That's the reason why I suppose he tried. If you look at his flick for the goal for the one out to Palma, it was an unbelievable flick. I get your point, and I agree with what Jabber's saying as well. The problem with Mark in Europe is Celtic just don't have the quality. They don't have quality in the positions they require. They miss too many chances. We've said it millions of times. They do have a holding midfielder in Iwata, but they don't play him. They play McGregor, who's not a holding midfielder. Mm-hmm. And that's where they get opened up. Like Celtic can have 15. Celtic can have 15 chances in the SPL game. They might score 4 goals. You're not going to get 15 chances in the European game. You're probably going to get 2 or 3 at the most. You have to finish 1 or 2 of them. That's a major problem for Celtic.
I agree with you there, Ter. think JFP the last time he was on had said if we lose Kyogo, we're banging bother. And you imagine having to play the big man up top in Europe. He's every bit. I know early days for the big boy, and he might come good, but he's a poor man's Giakoumakis for me, unfortunately. And I think he should do a wee bit better. He's today with a couple of wee chances he had, but I'd agree with you. I would have Awata playing in Europe. I don't know if I could drop Kalmak. That's the only problem for me. I think Kalmak's one of his biggest fans. I think I'd probably drop Hatate, but Hatate's comfortable on the ball, very comfortable. But he does tend to give it away. But he's good at carrying the ball forward for us.
Yeah, but I was saying to Mark, even Jerry, was that's a very, very fair point. But for me, why not? Why not, in a sense, then look at changing the formation? Why not have 3 centre backs, Awata sitting in front of him, allow Callum McGregor, allow Hatate, allow O'Reilly all to play? You know, just and you like the likes of Alistair Johnson spends more of his time going forward than he does going back. So there's no problem with him as a wing back. You could play Boyd as a wing back if you needed to, or just if you're looking to do it, or else it's more than likely going to have to be Hatate comes out for an Awata, O'Reilly and McGregor.
Yep.
I agree with what you're saying, but I think O'Reilly's undroppable. McGregor's undroppable, unfortunately, as well at the minute. That would be the only thing. Just to go back to the point you said a minute ago, what JFP was talking about as well. We were saying it before myself, Mark. I think Celtic created 86 chances in the last time in Europe, and they scored something like 2 goals. And one of them, let's be fair about it, was a deflection in on Shakhtar Donetsk one.
Yep.
They scored 2 goals out of 86 chances. Like that's shocking. Like.
I mean, I questioned it last season, and my question's still the same. Is Kyogo good enough at that top level?
There are very few of them, Mark.
Sorry, say that again.
There are very few of them in the team that are, in my opinion.
I mean, when you're talking for, he's the guy we're relying on for goals.
Well, the answer has to be no.
I know. It's hard to. He scores goals and that, but I've always said that I don't think, for me, just know that out and out striker that we kind of poacher, kind of goal scorer that we need. That you need at that kind of top level. Either that, or if you're not going to have like your kind of your poacher, like your Lee Griffiths type, you're going. For me, you then look at like your Dembele type of striker.
Yep. Gary Hooper.
You either go for your Lee Griffiths, Gary Hooper, we kind of is it a fox in the box striker they call you, like wee nippy guys in that, or you go for like somebody like Dembele, a big strong guy that can put the ball in the net, but he can hold the ball up. Dembele scored some wonder goals as well. Do you know what I mean? And I'm hoping, we're talking about there. The thing we want for me is he doesn't get enough game time to show anything. I mean, he's only done about 90 minutes overall so far this season. You're not going to build a guy's confidence in Mark sharpness with giving him 10 minutes at the end of every game. And I said when Rodgers came in, even like looking at I thought was the type of player. I thought would have done what Matt O'Reilly would have done. I thought he'd have really kicked on, because for me, he's nearly like your Dembele type of striker, and we know that's what Rodgers likes. I thought he'd really have got kicking on. Maybe he will come on, kick on, but he needs to get more game time, or we need to, even in January, we need to invest in a new number 2 striker. We definitely do, because John said the other week, JFP said the other week, well, one shoulder knock away for Kyogo being out for months.
Definitely. I can't argue with any of the points, but I think the wee man's movement is brilliant. I know he likes to play after that kind of last man. His work rate's quite good. I'd agree he's not an out-and-out striker, but for me, I would the way we are now, you've got to start him. You've got to play him. We've got nobody else to play through there, and I can understand you're not going to build Big O's confidence with bringing them on for the last 5-10 minutes against teams when they're done, but we need to kill these games off, and we're only really there's only one place up for grabs because he's got to play that central role, and for me, I think Kyogo, when he's played out wide's lost. He's not the same player. He's not as effective, but I do, as I said, he's no for me an out and out striker that we obviously need.
I mean, which the next league games, St Mirren into Jerry.
Is it no Hibs?
Was it?
No, it's either St Mirren or Hibs, isn't
it? When's the 1st of November?
No, the 1st of November's not. The 28th Saturday. It's Wednesday. It's the Wednesday.
That's the Wednesday we play St Mirren. But it's, we'll see like that game is St Mirren, the Wednesday night game.
Aye.
We're at home to St Mirren. Why not start and then with a half hour to go for no winning, put Kyogo in?
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Give the guy a good run out an hour to see what he can actually, if he can do any better for us. And if we're struggling, we can stick Kyogo in. Because again, it's a game, I mean, I know it will be a tough game because St Mirren they're a hard to beat team now, but it's like, again, going back to Kyogo with a shoulder injury, you'd rather wrap him up a bit of cotton wool for a game. Because for me, St Mirren at Celtic Park's a game that Celtic should be able to put in a couple of squad players to give them their chance.
Aye,
you know what I mean?
Aye,
you know
definitely,
what I mean?
mate. I mean, they're playing well, but the boys that we bring in should be classes above anything they've got.
Aye.
So we should really put a couple of them in and see what they can do. I mean, I've got no qualms with that. Every now and then, bringing a boy in for a couple of bringing one of the kind of subs in for a couple of games.
Switching it about a bit and giving them the chance to show what they can do.
I mean, for the likes of the day, I'd have took O'Reilly off early doors once that game was kind of done. And there's a few of them I'd have took off wrapped in cotton wool. Kyogo I probably took off sooner, to be honest, to give that boy a run out. Because you're just, with the way our injuries and luck's been, you're just waiting for, touch wood, you're just waiting for somebody else to pull up or something to happen.
Evening, John, thanks very much for coming in, bud. What about you, Terence? You think the players should be getting more game time?
Well, they should, Mark. I mean, I said it before, especially in home games against, with the greatest respects to what you deem the lower sides. I know St Mirren are going quite well, but like the players, I've always said it before, the players are playing with Celtic for a reason, and the players are playing with St Mirren for a reason.
Yep.
So there should be no reason that if Kyogo comes out and you want to put in if the manager's worried about putting in instead of Kyogo for a game for St Mirren, then he shouldn't be at Celtic, in my opinion, or any other player for that matter. If you take out Callum McGregor and you put in Holm or you put in Iwata or whoever it is, and the manager's worried about doing that against St Mirren at home, then for me that player isn't Celtic quality. They should be able to go in there and a player come out and there should be no change of play. Yes, I understand there might be a little bit difference in the quality. The starter might be better than the guy coming in, but the guy coming in still has a point to prove. So he's still at Celtic for a reason. He's still at the best club in Scotland. So he should comfortably beat St Mirren at home and be able to show his class, in my opinion.
Just when you mentioned home there, where's he been? He wasn't even on the bench today.
No, I was thinking I forgot about him totally.
He's not injured or that, is he?
No,
maybe they're sending off Mark if he's not available for the Atletico Madrid game.
Wednesday.
Maybe he's bringing Iwata in on that basis that he's going to be on the bench, because if he does come on, he's got minutes in his legs, so to speak.
That's what it will be, Terence, probably because of that red card. I forgot about that.
And he played well. He played very well.
I like the look of him. I like the look of home.
Aye, he's got a bit of dig about him.
Same as Iwata, but they don't. But the problem is they don't play these. Yes, I know. Home lost the head a bit in Feyenoord, fair enough, but they don't play these guys. They don't start these guys. They like Home comes on. You know, some of these guys come on when it's the race is run, so to speak. You know what I mean? I mean, as we said, it's as good as McGregor is, and he's one of the best players I've seen at Celtic. He's not a holding midfielder, and it's a liability every time you play him there in Europe. Every time.
I definitely think it's something. I mean, Home. We've seen it for him. He's got a bit of a dig about him and stuff like that. But he's also a good player. Could he move into that kind of role and just be playing in like the midfield? But when we need it, we play him as a CDM. Do you get what I mean? It's like he's a good enough player to play any of the three positions we've got going in midfield, basically, in my opinion. Even what I've seen him, I think he's really got something about him. You don't play all the games there in Norway and that if you're rubbish. Do you know what I mean? You're playing professionally if he was a wee boy, basically. So see if we could have a player like that is maybe McGregor in Scotland down he's number 6 role kind of thing. But then the other two, when we get to like Europe, it's the same personnel, but we just tweak the tactics a wee bit so that one of them's back down the kind of CDM role. McGregor's maybe playing just a wee bit forward. So you're not actually changing any personnel or anything like that. It's just a wee tweak to the tactics and where the players actually stand in the park.
I've got no. I mean, see the amount of games McGregor plays a season. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And then obviously you heard at the start of this season there was folks saying, "Oh, that's his legs have went. He's lost a half yard of pace. He's not the same player." I mean, the toll that must take him week in, week out, playing every minute for Celtic, then playing the games for Scotland. He's going to need a rest. We can't keep running him into the ground. So
he's not getting any younger.
Exactly. This is opportunities for the likes of Awata and Home to get a chance to play there. I like the both of them. Awata's obviously, I don't think he's scored a goal today and he's wonderful strike, but I think he is more defensive minded than the boy Home. Home's a wee bit more mobile for me, but Awata's very, very tidy when he gets the ball. Never gives it away. Head's always up. He's always in space. He's always looking for a pass. So I'd be happy to see either of them starting, having McGregor on the bench or giving him a rest, whatever. Take it for there.
I totally agree with that, Jerry. I've said it. Yeah. I've said it to Terence. I've said it to Paul, Mikey, a lot of them. McGregor's not getting any younger. We can't rely on him to play every single game, every season for the amount of games Celtic play. Then you say his Scotland commitments and stuff like that. I mean, I'm delighted that Scotland go to the Euros, but it doesn't really bother me. I'm hoping McGregor comes out and retires after that.
But that's where
if he played for Scotland, I mean, no for retires. He's up international football because he just saying he's 31 now, McGregor.
Aye, 31.
But that's where though as well, Mark, that the Rodgers and the rest of the management team, but particularly the manager, needs to step in and go, no, you want to play every game, but I need to see these other guys. We're at home to sit there and you'll be on the bench. If I need you, you can come on. If I don't need you, you won't be coming on. And start holding or start away at it and say, look, right, I need you to show me what you can do. My notion is you're staying on for the full 90 minutes unless there's a problem. And let him play, let O'Reilly play. The team is going to be pretty much near enough the normal side, maybe 2-3 changes, give or take. But the midfield is going to be the same. If you put Holmer, Awata, and McGregor, or Hitati and O'Reilly, it should be seamless. It should be no difference. You shouldn't have to play McGregor at home to St Mirren to beat St Mirren. These are games you go, right, I need you to sit here and have a rest. You need a rest. You need a week off. Take it handy. And then the guys on the pitch, right, lads, you're plenty good enough to beat St Mirren. I don't need the captain. And guys to prove themselves. You know what I mean? This as Jerry was saying, like a
wee boost. I mean, do you know what I mean? That maybe gives the players a wee boost as well. If the manager's saying, look, we don't need Cal McGregor. This is a game that I know you are capable of winning without Cal McGregor on the park. You don't need the captain out there. You just get there and show your captain what he can do when he's no ways. But it's all, you know what I mean? A motivational kind of thing.
But it also puts huge trust in the player that's coming into for Cal McGregor's position to go, look, I have full faith in you that you can do this job, no problem. Whether it's a Water or whether it's Holland. And you're going to them, look, I trust you. I'll put you in, and if he gets injured, I know I can trust you to stand in that position and do the job that I need you to do. It has to do that because it's like you alluded to back there a while ago. given 10 minutes here or 5 minutes there, or whichever players it is coming on, it's not going to help their confidence. And as well to give players more time and more games in the lesser games, you're also keeping the squad happy. You're also players are known that they're going to get game time. That was one of the main reasons Giakoumakis left.
I know.
He wasn't getting any game time. He was coming on for a few minutes here and there. Yes, he'd start the game and he might score 2 goals, and then the following week he was gone.
Yep. A couple of the boys there in the chat have made good points. I mean, Martin was going on about the boys' scales. I would never have known what he was like unless he'd went on loan. It's the same as some of these boys. They could get signed by us, no get a game and leave. We've never known how they could have done. So you've got to get the likes of Awata and home games to see how if they're going to cope, if they're going to be able to make us better and take it from there. But Greg's made a point as well. McGregor might not want to rest it. Some players are
but
always
that's the manager. But that's
exactly.
The manager needs to go. Exactly. I don't care whether you don't want to be rested or not. I'm the manager. I pick the team. I need you to sit down and rest. But as a captain, though, Jerry, as well, he also has to show example that if the manager says to him, look, Callum, I'm going to sit you out for this game. I want to see what the boys can do. He also has to be in a position as a captain to go, not throw the toys out of the cot and go, yeah, look, I understand what you're trying to do. I have no problem with that. I'm happy to go with that plan.
I don't think he'd be the type to throw his
No, I don't think he would either.
The pram, but I agree with you. But I think it would do him the world a good long term. It would do us the world a good long term as well, because we know, right, we've got somebody there. Because let's face it, I don't think we'd have been able to afford a player like Cal McGregor if he wasn't a Celtic fan and he came through our youths. I think he's been a terrific servant, and he's hopefully still got a few years left in him yet. But I don't know if we'd have been able to afford him, that type of player. Do you think I'm talking nonsense, or what do you think?
No, 100%. 100%. No chance.
So no, I think it would do him a world of good, not having to play 50, 60 games a season, and then they're not getting much break. I mean, look at the end of this season. Although we don't need to go, hopefully we're not in any qualifiers, we're straight in. You get the European Championships to contend with in Germany. So no, I think Home and Awata are at every right to be champed at the door, wanting minutes and time.
It's I've said it before. See, players that I want players to be unhappy they're not playing.
Of course.
Do you know how many times have we sat here and spoke about Scott Bain?
I was just going to say that.
Aye. Do you know what I mean? That stunners me. Do you know what I mean? People say, he's moaning because he's not getting game time and that. I want players to be moaning if they're not getting game time. But I don't want them just moaning for the sake of it. I want them to be turning up and training as hard as they can, putting in their shift, and then moaning about why they're not getting picked. Do you know what I mean? Players that are happy enough not to play games shouldn't be at Celtic. Every single Celtic player should be chomping at the bit to play every single game. And then as Tern says here, whether it's Cal Mack, whether it's Carter Vickers getting dropped for him just to keep him fit and fresh. It's up to the manager to do that, and the players just need to stick by it and swallow it down if they don't accept it. I mean, it's not as if McGregor's going to get dropped for weeks. It's maybe the odd game here and there we're talking about.
Aye.
But it's not. But the thing about it, Mark, is it's the days of the terminology dropped are gone. Because it's a squad. It's a squad. There's whatever 20 or however many guys involved in the match day squad, but at 18, 19. But you have to remember, none of the players give out that they're not picked for the Kilmarnock game because it's on a plastic pitch. They go, well, I can't play Vickers now because his legs are a bit dodgy. I can't play Narotsky because he, or they might say to certain players, look, this pitch just doesn't suit. The legs. So it was like
picking James Forrest up at Livingston.
Yeah,
everybody. But I mean, Forrest. Many times had Forrest played up there. You can understand that. I mean, nobody's doing cartwheels when we see James Forrest starting a game, but you can understand where Rodgers is coming from. He's experienced in playing on that shitty surface, and whatever Forrest does bring the experience and a bit of that to the game. Do you know what I mean? So you can understand that thinking. So that's exactly it there.
Yeah, and as I said, it's a squad. There's five subs now that can come on. So you're starting with the 11 boys. Nearly half your team is coming off and been changed. So there should be absolutely. To be honest, you should be delighted if you're one of those guys going, you know what, I'm getting a break this week. if you're in Callum McGregor's shoes going, I'm getting a rest this week. I can understand he might want to play all the games, but at the same time, it's benefiting you and it's benefiting us that you get a rest this week because we might have a bigger match next week.
Yep.
And even gets back as well to there being no decent reserve league in Scotland.
That's a joke.
Do you know what I mean? But I mean that even gets back. See, like if O was playing reserve games in midweek for Celtic and that, he'd be a lot more up to speed than he is now coming off the bench for 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Because the reserve league would be playing against decent level of opposition, kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? And Stern says it's an absolute joke. Again, back to what we were talking about there, Jerry, before Terence came on. The guys running Scottish football just don't have an absolute clue what they're doing.
No. See, even having ex-pros in there, I still don't think. I mean, you used to hear, we should get these think tanks and go with ex-pros and all that. Some of the ex-pros are half-wits themselves. I mean, I know it doesn't help, but I don't know how you would fix that with Scottish football. It's wild. I mean, you've got likes Alex Ferguson. It's one of the best managers ever. After Jockstein, obviously, but one of the greatest managers ever. He's quite proud Scot. You'd have thought he would.
Kenny Dalglish.
Aye.
Martin. I don't like Kenny Dalglish either, but you could still get these guys involved. You could even say Souness.
Yeah, I was going to say him.
Martin O'Neill would probably get involved because he's that interested in Scottish football and stuff like that. And ask these guys, just even ask them. They don't need to do it, but even behind the scenes, just go to these guys and ask them, what do you think we could do to improve the Scottish game overall?
Aye.
But just on your point,
Souness would probably say just pay guys tax free.
What you're saying, Mark, about the reserve league, like it's bang on, but it's Celtic related, but he's not a Celtic player anymore. But they were talking today, like, look at Craig Gordon, he's coming back from nearly a year out.
Yep.
Like if he has reserve football, he could play a few games for Hearts. I'm just using it as an example.
Standard.
Yeah, because I remember a player saying before, and he was a young guy, and this was obviously a long time ago, and he was playing the reserves for Celtic, and he said he was the centre forward, and he played against Alex McLeish, who was playing with Aberdeen at the time, and he said he learned more in that 90 minutes playing against McLeish, who was coming back from injury, than he did in all the training sessions he had.
Yep.
Was that maybe no Charlie Nicholas terms?
It could have been Charlie Nicholas. It could have been Charlie Nicholas.
We can back as far as that, but when it was that kind of time, Andy Walker, maybe even, do you know what I mean? But that's it. And but the games are competitive. I don't know, somebody put up earlier on about Rangers playing Real Madrid in basically a friendly bounce game, but what's the point and why do we not set up games like that? Because you don't really learn anything for that. They're not competitive games, players on the. They're not, do you know what I mean? It's a kind of a bounce game, really. Do you know what I mean?
It meant something it meant something, Mark, when you won the reserve league.
Aye, that's what I'm saying. The reserve league's actually competitive games. I mean, Celtic could probably go and set up all these friendlies if they wanted, but there's no. You're basically risking players' injury for no reason, in my opinion. If you just went out and set up friendlies and stuff like that. And I think they only done that. Was that not just so the games to get ticket money in the door, that Real Madrid friendly thing?
Or the night, I imagine.
See, you're going on about the players that are sitting there and they're picking up wages like Bain and all the rest of it. I mean, I used to look at some of them going up for medals and think, fuck, how can you go up there, man? Never kicked a ball, and yet you're going up there grabbing your medal and as if he's have contributed. Remember that boy that played with
Marvin
Man U, made a career at it, David May? Yeah, European Cup winners medal and everything, never even kicked a ball.
Marvin Camp, remember him? For Celtic.
He's a prime example.
Throwing the trophy around in the air.
As if he had contributed. And I don't think he had done nada.
He played a game against Morton, that's all he played.
Oh, it wasn't even in a league.
I think it was a League Cup game or something like that.
Elite winner medal. Aye.
Yeah.
Fraud.
Must
be all right,
They're entitled to the medals, but as you say, it's a bit like know your role kind of thing, isn't it?
A bit sheepish, like.
Look what I've won. Oh, how speak to their grandwains off. What did you do that season? Sat on the bench.
Many
Never
games
kicked the
did
ball, but I've got a medal.
many games did you play that year, Grand? Nine or something. I was Joe Hart's understudy, but I was getting 16 grand a week. I was getting, you know, that's into it.
Aye.
Me and your gran wouldn't have his big house, and your mum and dad wouldn't have fancy motors. And I bought them if I never sat my arse in that Celtic bench for 5 years.
What about this Real Madrid number 2? Is there anything in that?
I think so, aye. But I don't get. I think it's just one on the list kind of thing, Jerry. Do you know what I mean? But there's definitely a bit of an interest there.
Must be half decent if he's at them, because they're not too bad, huh?
Oh, but he was one of the best young keepers in Europe before he went there.
I know nothing about him, mate. I'd be lying if I said
I'm going with Mikey to help me. I'll say it right away. Do you know what I mean? Anything like that, I just go to Mikey.
That's funny, yeah. The Google of football.
Aye, but Mikey, he was one of the top best young keepers in the world when he was younger. And you don't end up at Real Madrid if you're. Do you know what I mean?
There's not had too many bad players over the years.
But you need it to be as well, Mark. Like when we were saying there a while ago about players coming in and all that. Like you need the player that's going to come in by the goalkeeper if Hart gets injured or sent off or something like that. You don't need everyone to automatically all go together. Oh Christ, no, it's him.
Toby alert.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. You need the keeper to be able to come in. Like if they got the Real Madrid guy for argument's sake, and next season he's the number 1 and Joe Hart's the number 2, for argument's sake, and he gets injured or comes off, you'd be happy with Joe Hart coming in. At the minute, you if when that happened against the Livingston game for the next game or two, you probably watched the match from behind the couch because you're thinking if a man shoots from the half a line, is this a goal? Like,
yep.
No disrespect to Scott Bain, but he's not at that level. Like,
if you get the reserve team fit, you're able to keep your keeper sharp. You know, you're able to play it with the reserve keeper able to play any bother. Aye. So if we had see our sub keeper Ben now, see if he able to play it, would he able to play for the reserves in the old way?
Aye.
Yeah. So he'd be competitive every week,
match sharp as well.
The
keeper coming in, rabbit in the headlights.
I can't, to be honest, I can't remember if there was any rules about overage players and stuff like that, but any player for your first team squad can play in the reserve league as well.
I can't remember the reserve league, I'll be honest, but I'm sure you'd maybe 2 or 3 were over age.
It was over 23 or something like that. It was normally like 3 or 4 of them could play if they were like over 23 or something like that. Obviously, especially there was nearly like a rule there. Obviously, guys coming back from injury, because it was a given that they were going to play 1 or 2 reserve games or whatever before going back to get their fitness up. Like,
yep, not too bad.
But those days are long gone.
I mean, it's definitely a better option and better standards than that daft youth league in that we're messing about in.
Okay, we popped out to that as well at one point, did we know?
There was talk, someone on the summer, and some teams went into it, and some teams, I thought some teams actually wanted to start a reserve league.
And there was talk at one point we were just going to organise our own games and all the rest of it. Because I think they had done that as well with their team, or one of their youth teams as well. They were just going to organise their own friendlies, get around and play fucking games against all the other age groups and all the other kind of youth teams.
There's a reserve league up. There's a reserve league table up on the SPL website. Kilmarnock reserves: Ayr United, Queen's Park, Dundee, Livingston, Hibs, Dunfermline, Queen of the South, and Airdrie.
Aye.
So there is a reserve league.
Aye, there was a reason we weren't getting into it. There was something we were talking about how us and them weren't getting into it at the start of the season, or the start of last season, I'm sure.
But surely that's a dereliction of duty. Surely that is.
I think along your lines, I think it's something far wrong if Celtic's not involved in.
Like the teams that you've named now, majority of those teams are going to have professional players in it. There are obviously lads, whatever, could be coming back from injury and one thing or another. With the greatest respect to the lads in the Lowland League, it's way down the divisions. All the lads that they're playing against are working.
Aye, they're not going to
working. You know what I mean? They're out doing their job and training twice a week.
They're joiners all weekend playing for them at the weekend kind of thing.
you know, like most people would do in most other countries, they work during the week. They might go training twice a week and have a match the weekend. That I don't understand how that can benefit the young lads in the Lowland League. And if for argument's sake, usually I know Ben Summers has got to Dunfermline, but when he was involved with it, or Rudy Bata, or one or two others, how can you ask them then to come into the first team if you need them? It's the jump is it's too big. It's too big, like just because you're playing against an amateur guy who's after going to the work in the factory that day and come and play during a football match the following morning.
Yep.
The standard is, and you ask them then to play a match against Hearts or Hibs or whoever it may be in the Premier League in Scotland, where the pace has just gone through the roof, and the guy can't live with it. They just can't live with it. Like the gap is too big.
Agreed.
I've said for years, up in years, going back years, that see in Scotland, one of the big problems with Scotland is for years we produced cracking youth players, but see, it was a thing. People had gone for the under 21s or the old what we called the reserves back in the day, and that, or the under 21s when it was Scotland and stuff like that. If you've gone to that level, to the next level, that's where Scotland seemed to lose something.
Aye. Scotland's never had a problem producing world class kids. It's getting them to the next level, as you say, man.
Aye, it gets to that. There's something just for, and I'm getting back donkey's years with saying that. I mean, getting back to when, what was it, the under 16s got to the World Cup
92.
final.
Was it, remember the Brian O'Neill and all that? Was it the final day they got to?
Was that was before that, was it? No, 90 when the Scotland. Mind Paul Dickov.
Aye, Paul Dickov.
Arsenal in that, aye.
Aye,
was Brian O'Neill in that team, aye. But who else was in that team that made it as a professional player at any kind of decent level?
Exactly.
I couldn't name one. They're Gregson, Saudi Arabia. They beat them in the final.
Aye, they were about 30, but...
Aye, they had big, daft moustaches and beards and stuff like that. They were meant to be like under 16s.
That's it.
But again, but that's the thing. It's just a many teams.
Birds, that's the problem.
Aye. Kunsel's getting cheaper.
Aye.
but it really is. It's even going back to we Dembele, we Karamako Dembele and players like that. It's like even meant to be one of the best young players in the world. Who Calvin Miller? Calvin Miller was on that UEFA list top player. Do you know what I mean? And where are these guys now?
Exactly. Well, remember he was getting Brendan. He get put to the left back and all the rest of it, and slowly drifted out. Even remember looking at Clamour to get the boy John Fleck in the Scotland squad, and I don't even think he'd played a game for them. All right, he's done not too bad at Sheffield United, but I agree. Karamoko, I can remember. I had seen him years ago because my mate's laddie played at Hamilton at the time, and he was obviously at Celtic, and you were watching him, and Celtic just lumped the ball forward to him. They just killed the ball stone dead. His chest turned away. It was massive compared to the rest of the kids, but you always heard his name. He's going to be this and he's going to be that, and you were starting to get excited when he was getting around about the first team squad, thinking he was going to kick on and going to be a player. But I don't know if it was attitude or what, but he's where is he? But away out to France and nobody's heard from him since.
He went to Blackpool, I think, isn't he?
No, I think he went to France. Did he know?
I thought he was at France, but I thought he'd gone back, but look, I could be wrong as well.
Dembele.
Aye, with Karamoko.
Was it no Nice or something he went to?
Aye, Nice, that was it. He went to Nice, yep.
I'll see the new, where is he? No, he's at Blackpool now. On loan for that League One club, is it Brest? Brest, you pronounce it. I mean, he's only 20. Who knows where he gets? Do you know what I mean? If he did apply himself, who knows where he could end up? I mean, playing with Blackpool, he could catch a Championship team's eye, and then the next time he catches a Premier, a pub league kind of eye, and that's him away he goes. But even in early years, there are just countless players that we've known that were these kind of going to be the next big thing, and they've just never done anything anywhere near it.
But it's Ter says, see the gap between them playing that Pyramid League to when you're asking like Savata to go and play against some of these boys, the Junior League. Don't be wrong, they're good players for their level, but they're no at the same level as these kids, and then you're asking them to come on and play against a team in this league. It's massive. You can't be expecting them to be able to go and play against these kind of teams and then come on and play for us and be able to do something. I think it's the gap's way too big. There's got to be a bridge in between it. You can't ask the boys to jump for there right into that. I think they've got to be. You need them to get experience in playing against men, essentially, but they've got to be a kind of decent standard as well.
I think that's. I mean, you've got to. It's like even get back to like the old kind of apprentices and stuff like that. I don't know if you can remind you that kind of thing, Jerry, but it was like young players kind of learnt their trade.
Aye, the YTS. It's called
cleaning. Well, I can go back. You get S forums and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Used to say when you were at school, and then you get into like it was apprenticeships and then YTS stuff and it cleaning boots and. I mean, do you think these young guys are only cleaning boots? I mean, there's a video. I think I've mentioned it on here before. You've probably seen it, but there's a picture. I think it was Scotland today. Somebody at Celtic Park talking about in the pitch talking to somebody. Maybe Billy McNeil at the time. No, it wouldn't be Billy McNeil. But I can't mean. But there's a wee ginger guy up in the stand sweeping the terraces, and it's Tommy Burns when he's a young boy.
Jesus.
Literally,
you wouldn't get that. Imagine you tell a kid now you to go and sweep the stands.
Aye.
No
it's
chance.
Like, see after the game, she said, aye, that's it. I'm not doing that. I'm getting. What do you mean? I need to go and clean his boots. I mean, be JP McBride. He was Decanio's boot boy when he was there for a year.
Aye, no, that's long gone. That's one of the problems.
They don't have to earn it. They don't have to earn what they get. In that sense, they don't realise. Some of them just don't realise how lucky they are.
They get handed it too early.
They're very, very talented young guys, regardless of who they play. But they don't learn the humility of where they are, like, and basically how to get there properly. And back in those days, there was nearly a form of like respect to go. I'm a boot boy. I'm a apprentice coming up, and I'm cleaning Decanio's boots or Van Hooydonk's boots or whoever, Tommy Burns' boots, whatever it may be at the time, or Brian McClay or whoever it was. And there was nearly a respect attached to that, like, you know what I mean, that you earned your crust, so to speak, and you worked your way up to get to where you were. Now you've got a guy in the, for argument's sake, particularly down in England, probably in the Championship or Second Division, who's on probably 30 or 40 grand a week, and he's not even anywhere near a first team. Like, you look at somebody like Chelsea had something like 90 guys on loan. What are all those young guys on, like? They're lots of money.
Well, look at the boy Farouz. Do you know what I mean? He was driving about in the best of motors and hadn't even kicked a ball.
Aye.
That's exactly it. And that lad, with the greatest respect, that young lad Dembele was in the same boat. His head was filled with, listen, you're going to be like Real Madrid, Barcelona, like. That's where you're going to be playing. This Celtic is way beneath you. Like, you don't need to be signing another contract. So there's going to be a rack of teams coming looking for you. Definitely. Rather than them earning their crust and learning from the ground up. This is what you need to do to be a professional footballer, not just sign a contract, right, throw the money at me, I don't have to do a tap. That's what some of them would give that impression anyway.
That's what's happening with Rocco Vata.
And they throw the toys over the cot then.
I mean, Rocco Vata is a great young player, but he's miles away from being a Celtic first team player. I mean,
that's what I'm saying, like.
Aye, but he thinks that's sometimes. But he's getting bad advice and thinks, oh, the grass is greener. Just going somewhere else for more money doesn't mean you're going to be a better player. You're going to get more game time and stuff like that. I mean, what team's going to sign Rocco Vata? I mean, what is he even 18 yet?
Oh, that's the line. I'm not sure.
He's 18.
He probably is like, yeah.
Right, he's 18. But what level of team's going to turn around and give Rocco Vata guarantees of game time at 18-year-old?
Very few.
Maybe, but any team giving him guaranteed game time terms isn't going to be at the level of Celtic. That's
No,
what I mean.
you might be saying like a Fleetwood Town, for argument's sake, where a lot of guys have gone with, and no disrespect meant to Fleetwood Town, but that's what they're saying. Like, Mark, if people are looking at first team players in Celtic and don't rate them down south, they're hardly going to rate a young lad that's not even on the Celtic first team.
Exactly. I mean, you maybe get an English Championship taking a punt on him, but he's at that age. He's no what we're talking about. He's got no pedigree. He's got no experience. He's been a member of the first team squad like regularly, and all that entails. It'll just be a bit part playing no matter where he goes.
Well, look at Calmack getting away down to Notts County. These stripes, it doesn't. It's not the end of the world if these kids have looked down south and prove that they can do it.
I mean, for me, that's what Celtic should be doing a lot more. But I know there's rules coming in to change it, the amount of players that you can have to put out on loan and stuff like that. But the loan. I mean, Alex Ferguson, that was one of his things. That's what he sent Beckham to Preston.
Right.
To kind of level, bring him down a wee peg or two and learn him what it's like to actually work and like where you know the blue-eyed boy and everybody's crawling about you and stuff like that, and sent him down there, and it probably made him the kind of person that he was and made him grow up a bit.
I heard that.
Talking to Ed Wan, sorry Jerry, just talking to Ed Wan. I mean, he knows Steven Gerrard's family. If he was a wee boy, he knows the family and that. And if Steven Gerrard was like 11, 12-year-old, Steven Gerrard wasn't allowed to. Nobody was allowed to slag him or say anything bad. No matter what he wanted, he go. Just get that kind of mollycoddled way. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
And that's probably where his kind of attitude came from. But probably Gerrard could have been. I mean, Beckham probably different atmosphere, personality, celebrity, and that. But that's because his wife and stuff and that as well. But as a football player, Beckham became a lot more grounded and kept his seed and became a better player for that time at Preston. Whereas Gerrard always had that, it was just, he was out for himself more than his team.
Very much so. I think it was down to the manager and all. Ferguson wouldn't let them. I mean, you seen that with that stupid cup final when that Liverpool team had already, remember the white suits?
Yeah.
The Spice Boys.
And then you've got the Ferguson. He wouldn't have allowed any of them to get they're too big for their boots. He wouldn't. I mean, remember when Giggs was going through, wouldn't have let them do any of the interviews or MDC him or speak to him. So he didn't want he's getting too big for his boots, and that's the way it should be. That's how we get
rid of Paul Ince.
Aye,
Paul Ince drove in a big Rolls Royce with the Reggie plated Gov one because he wanted everybody to call him the governor.
Fucking hell.
And Ferguson was like, right, you're away at the end of the season, son, this isn't happening. Do you know what I mean? Driving in the big I am in that. And
it was in his prime as well at the time.
Aye, it was a shocker that, wasn't it?
Went into Milan. Same with Lee Sharp, he got rid of him quite quick as well.
But I think it also helped as well, Mark. Sorry, Jerry. I think it also helped. Well, if you look at then is with the likes of what you mentioned there, Beckham, it also helps when you have the likes of people who are extremely grounded, like a Scholes and a Scholes and a Keane, who wouldn't tolerate any of that.
That's exactly it.
They,
along with Ferguson, Keane and Scholes wouldn't tolerate any of that stuff. You know what I mean? I remember that Keane apparently saying to your man Richardson, he came driving in with the music layering out and pumping out and the whole lot, and he basically told him to turn off the music and go home. You know, they understood because they would have certainly. Keane came from that same ground that he came from Cove Ramblers, so you know he started from the ground up like.
Aye. Right, Jenny, what were you going to say there? Because I've cut you off twice here. Sorry, mate.
No. I had heard a wee story. Like, I think it was McManus or AD with the youth players. Now they're involved up there. They had brought up all the youth, whatever one it is, their social medias. So, say for talk's sake, it was right there. Ter, his social media, plays for Celtic, such and such, blah blah blah. Mark plays for Celtic. So he sat them all down, and he was like, "Right, Ter, what's this? Play for Celtic. Tell me how many times you've played for Celtic." Well, I've done this. So you've played for Celtic. You class yourself as a Celtic player. You're not a Celtic player. Mark, How many you've got it up there? You play for Celtic. What's that? Oh, aye. Look at the pictures you've got up posing in all your Celtic stuff. You don't play for Celtic. He went right round them all, tore them all to shreds. And I think he'd pulled in McManus and said that until they'd played in about 30, 40, 50 games, they still never really classed themselves as Celtic players. To get it done, knuckle down, get after the social media. And if they really want it to be Celtic players, they can come back once they've played 50 games in the first team. Now, for a kid, I thought that was, when the person told me, I thought it was quite a smart move, because you've got all these kids nowadays in the Celtic, not just the Celtic, they all think they've made it before they have. You see them
just because they're at Celtic at any level. You even see it, even if it's even 13 and 14-year-olds that are signed to Celtic, their mums and dads are arseholes.
Aye. Oh, they
think
that's it.
Aye.
Their boys going in. And you look at the fraction of them actually do make it, even though they're, I mean, remember, you used to get players that were on S forms and you thought, oh, he's an S form with Celtic, he's an S form with that. I mean, 20 years later, you don't think any of them ever get near the Celtic flipping reserves or the under-18s or whatever. But no, I think the kids are getting it handed to them too soon. And we would all love a youth system where we're producing a first-team player every couple of seasons. It would be brilliant, but it's reality, it's not going to happen.
Phil O'Donnell turned down. I can't remember if he actually went to Dundee United for a wee bit, but he turned down Celtic, and he might have went to Dundee United for a bit, but left it and went to Motherwell because it made a chance of getting into the first team with Motherwell.
It was the same with the boy Hickey, was it not with us? His dad didn't think he was going to dislodge Tierney, and he'd be here for the 10, and next thing he's away to Hearts. And now look at him, he's flying.
Aye. I mean, there's a lot of that, but I mean, the thing about it is that people going about, we let Andy Robertson go, just to see Martin talking about him and that, and things like that, but Andy Robertson be the player he was today if he'd stayed at Celtic and pissed about in the youth he'd set up at Celtic. You can't.
Well, sometimes these boys need a reality check and a step back. And
getting out there and playing every week. Where was he? Queen's Park he went to do you know what I mean?
Aye.
And there's players that have done that over the years. They've just thought, I'm away here to and put in the hard graft and build myself up, build my career up again.
Aye.
I mean, it's hard to break into the Celtic first team.
Oh, definitely. We don't give, as far I'm guilty, we're all guilty. We don't give our homegrown players enough time. See if we to bring in a kid the same age, same ability for elsewhere, we're more understanding.
I've said that for years.
It's not right, okay.
But I've how many times have you said it? Have I said it to you? Every Celtic, at least every young Celtic player, it's not even judged in their last match, it's judged in their last touch of the ball.
Aye.
Yeah.
And it's not even young players when you get to, I mean, look at the grief Greg Taylor still takes.
Aye, I can be guilty of that and all, to be honest. The one that I wouldn't give time is that see Mikey Johnson. I think it's time that boy funny selling our team. Even I know it's rich me saying that after say we don't give players not enough time, but I think
he's 24 now. He's 24 or something now, Jerry. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I try and compare it to like Abada, who came out here for a total different culture, everything, no family, the whole lot, and what he's done. And we get Mikey, it's come right through our youth system, and you keep hearing for every day, the skills, the tricks, and everything. This boy was brilliant, but that's in training. Training doesn't really matter. It's when it comes to games, he's always injured and all. It's 24, and you think.
But he's had a lot of chances as well, though. He's had a lot of chances. He's had a lot of chances.
That's what I'm saying. It's not as if he's not had a chance.
I heard you called him the Irish Messi on Facebook terms.
First of all, I'm not on Facebook, thank God. Secondly, those words would never come out of my mouth.
You better speak to your pal Faye Cork then. It was him that was spreading about the live chat for the day. Didn't he? Aye.
Kev said the Irish Gary Mackay-Stephen. I think that's more suitable.
sitting out in the middle of the Clyde on a Saturday night.
That's it.
Are you sure Paul wasn't saying about the Irish Maldini for Liam Scales?
Somebody mentioned that one, I know, right?
No, it was definitely for Mikey Johnson.
Aye, that's what
he said. He doesn't float my boat. No, one never has. No, to be fair, he he's like a kite that if the wind blows too strong, he's going to take off. Look, I don't like necessarily having goals at guys, but he's had his chances and he's not Celtic level. He's just not Celtic level.
I'd agree
with that as well. There's a few there that's still hanging about in the background that we can put into that kind of bracket, isn't there?
But the problem is they stick them on the bench for the European things, for the homegrown stuff. So that's half the problem as well, isn't it?
That's the only reason we signed Bain again, is it no?
Or the
I think so. I'd go with that. I'd say that, Jerry. Aye, definitely. Because there's no other reasoning for it for me.
Nah. And I think there's a few of them in the way he's press conference. I think Kobayashi, his time will be up. He's another like Ideguchi. I think he's not going to get game time. I think it's sayonara for him.
Taylor,
what's happening with him?
Oh, he played in a B team game back in September, and I've not heard anything from him since. But if somebody inside Celtic Park, I've heard somebody through them kind of thing, that what they've seen him in that, the boy's pure different gravy.
Who's this, Mark?
Telio.
Oh, the Australian boy, is it?
The Australian, aye. He's meant to be a player, but I mean, where is he?
But sure, if he's not getting games, Mark, he'll go back to the knocking over the old ground of the reserve league thing. But he could be involved a month and a half ago if he was able to get game time into him. Well, how's he getting games? Is he playing in the Lowland League thing?
It was the middle of September, something that was over there. It's here, September the 24th. Con, Telio, Kobayashi and Mikey Johnson played for the B team against Ayr United. And I've not heard anything from him since.
I imagine listening to those 3 or 4 players anyway, they lost. That's since I shivered on the spine if that was a starting lineup, wouldn't it?
No, even the score isn't even on the thread. It's not even telling you what the score was.
Imagine that was in the starting lineup, so you put a shiver down your spine. And that was like, oh my God, those names scared the life out of me.
That Kobayashi just, even that first game he played in, it just looked lost, didn't he?
Oh yeah. He got out muscled every single game.
Aye.
Out muscled, out fought, out everything. Look. Some guys are meant to play at that level. Other guys aren't. He's not.
He was very much a project, was he not?
And who takes the blame for that?
It has to be the Spurs manager.
But people forget. Oh, he can't do any rank terms. People are forgetting, right? And whether
don't get me started about him.
Do you know what? Because he go to Kyogo, he goes to Maida and stuff like that. But people forget about the actual draws that came in at the same time, I know.
Yeah, but Kobayashi and Iraguchi both came in as well, and they're gone out the door. You know, well, as such, like, you know what I mean. You could argue about a few other players, whether he's involved in them or not, I don't know. But certainly, you would say any of the boys from the Japanese side of the world, he would have been a major, basically major contributor on it, like.
But that's the Celtic fans again, isn't it? Oh, the good, Ange got is this, he done that, and they don't talk about the bad stuff.
Oh no, they'll probably blame Peter Lawwell for that, even though he wasn't in the building.
It'll be Peter Lawwell's fault that we signed it. It'll be Angie's fault. No, Angie's fault. We'll give Ange credit for the signing Kyogo and Maida and stuff like that. But we'll blame Mark Lawwell or Peter Lawwell for signing Kobayashi and stuff like that. That's the way it goes.
Yeah. Oh, it is, yeah. The Spurs manager signed all the good, and everyone else signed all the rubbish.
So what's your take on Wednesday night terms? You want to know when me and Jerry were talking about it. What you thinking for that?
Yeah. I just think you're playing against one of the cutest teams in Europe.
Aye.
They're probably the best team that you watch, that are best defensively. They probably win more games 1-0 than anyone.
Yep, definitely.
And if they score, which I imagine they will, because I think Celtic haven't haven't kept a clean sheet, and I saw some stat in it for a long time in Europe. But like if they score, which they likely will, defensively they're going to be just too hard to break down. I think the race. I think, Mark, to be honest, the race was run after the Lazio game.
Do you think so?
I do. I genuinely do, because I think the three other teams, Lazio, Feyenoord, Atletico Madrid, like you're now already at least 4 points behind the third place. So you've got to get results in the next two games, and the next two games are Atletico Madrid home and away. I can't see anything in it myself personally. I think they're just technically way too good, and Celtic are too naive at this level. Way too naive at this level. If you go in, which they will, Alan McGregor, the whole midfield role, which we said this a million times in this podcast, you're not giving any protection to the defenders. McGregor's a fantastic player, but he's not a holding midfielder. He can't tackle. And I just think in that situation, Celtic leave themselves exposed. That's my own opinion, but I just think Atletico Madrid are too strong for them.
That boy they've got up front seems as if he's been about for decades, that Morata. He's a good big player. Feels as if he's been about for years. I think he's put in that many teams. I think he's been everywhere. He scored, I think, scored for Spain at the weekend there.
Aye. He's only early 30s too, maybe.
Aye, I know. Who's that? Was it Chelsea and all, wasn't he?
Was it? I can mind. Was at Juventus?
I think he's been everywhere. Oh, Vickers will have him in his back pocket, man. No bother.
Was the other guy beside him?
Juventus, Real Madrid, Chelsea. Aye.
Oh, he's not beat the part kid yet.
Yeah, but it's as you said as well a while ago, to Mark, as well. I was listening to you there a while ago when you were saying it. Like, no one worries about coming to Parkhead anymore.
No,
I think they've lost their last 10 home games.
I think there's some dates on drugs in that forum. Kobayashi's going to be the scales.
Bobby, 1962.
Man, Bobby. Best of luck. I hope he's right.
Aye, so they are.
I'll tell you, my pals laughed at me, and I think a couple of them will be listening tonight. But I thought he looked not too bad on the ball. See his first couple of games, I thought he looked decent on the ball. He got out-muscled, but he looked not too bad in the ball. However, I wouldn't be comfortable playing centre half for us, that's for sure.
No.
So,
well, I just think the way
the league is set around him if he did.
I just think the way, Jerry, the league plays in Scotland, the physical side of it is a requirement.
Oh, definitely.
That it's a lot. Maybe it's not a prerequisite, or it's not the way it's played in Japan, and he looks a lot more comfortable in that environment. But over here, he's, no matter who he was up against. I mean, he played against Curtis Main, and Curtis Main nearly threw him over the stand. Like, he just completely ragdolled him. Like, even the game in Ibrox, Suter just completely outmuscled him for the goal. And Suter didn't even leave the ground.
There's nothing more embarrassing watching that, man. Getting ragdolled.
So like, I mean, you're saying to yourself that that's Vickers, or even, like, in fairness, I was slightly biased, Scales, because he can move, he can use himself. He watched him even today doing it. You wouldn't see them losing out to the same way. They might lose the header, but they won't lose out in the same way that your man loses out to complete. Didn't see him outmuscle a single person in the games he played. As a centre back, in Scotland, that's kind of unheard of. Like,
a centre back anywhere turns, you've got to think into it.
Well, it is, but it's a prerequisite.
I mean, even playing in Japan, I know they're no big muscly men in that, but if you're a centre half in any game of football, you need to have a bit of physicality about you. Even like I look, see, honestly, you're saying you thought he looked good in the ball in that there, Jerry. I thought that looked as if it was the first time I'd ever seen a fit, but to be honest.
Here goes my judgment. No, I thought, I honestly, a couple of the pals they were asking me if I was smoking then, but no, I thought he tried to get the ball down and try to make a couple of decent passes. But
No,
I'm
some
always
of the
for
times
giving folk a chance, but no.
he looked like sometimes, for me, he looked like he was after being tasered every time he got the ball. Seriously, he looks like he was shaking like a leaf, and I thought everything about him was shocking now, to be honest. I really did.
No, the minute you get out muscled off one of them, that's it. I'm done with him. That's it. If you can get muscled off out muscled off shooter, especially against them, no, he should have had a blade in his pocket if he was going to get out muscled off him.
So that's a Kobe Ashe's no good enough then. I mean, where is he in the pecking order when you think about it now?
Last.
You get Lagerbielke, you've got Narovsky, Nat Phillips,
Welsh,
future Celtic captain Stephen Welsh.
Aye. Mm-hmm. Aye.
I said when Scales started kicking on there and that, I said to Terence and Paul, instead of calling Welsh, I just call Scales the future Celtic captain, Liam Scales.
Hey, stranger things have happened.
As I said, that's his career gone down the toilet now after Mark.
Kiss of death.
Yeah.
I can't even remember the guy's name. He was there playing for Ayr or something, but it was Scales' best pal when they were growing up and they went to university. He's got a degree. John. He
was in UCD.
I keep calling him John Scales. That's an old Wimbledon.
That's a Liverpool boy.
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye. So it's just a slip of the tongue. But he's got a degree in what terms were you got to say? You know what it is?
He was in UCD. He was in University College Dublin, I think. I'm nearly sure he was in UCD.
Aye, that's what it was. That's what it was. And this boy, and they've known each other all life. And he said this is a dream come true for him, for Liam Scales. Do you know what I mean? He says this is his kind of dream. So even we're talking about Matt O'Reilly might be away in that, and we're talking about how players maybe come stay for years. I think Scales could be the type of player that would stay for years.
As long as he keeps progressing, man, I'm happy with that.
Aye, definitely. I know that. Aye, that's what I mean. But I don't think he's reading that interview and other stuff about him. I think he's quite a grounded guy.
Aye, no, definitely.
I don't think money or that would be a turn for him. Do you know what I mean? I don't see I'm away to Southampton or something like that for just because it's mere money.
No, when you're a fan of a club and all, you've got that emotional attachment that we've all got. And some of the foreigners, we want them to have, but we know deep down they've not really got it. He'll be a Republican, petrol thrower, so he'll be wanting to stay here for as long as he can.
But it's like Mark, a lot of lads in Ireland they might have fragments, like they might be a Man United supporter, but they'd be a Celtic supporter. Aye. Or a Liverpool supporter and a Celtic supporter. Do you know what I mean? Always if the derby was on, they'd be supporting Celtic. And Scales might be of the same ilk. He might have always been a Man United supporter growing up, but you can be guaranteed he was a Celtic fan as well.
Oh, well, going with this interview with the boy, he played where, he might still play where, but what he's saying that Celtic all the way with Scales. But
there's a lot of that too. But I'm just saying, there can be that as well,
That Hugh Adams, the Rangers director, years ago, he came out and said that.
Exactly. But the amount of fans.
Aye, he said, I'm sure Hugh Adams started off the Rangers pool stuff, made them all that money, and then he saw what Murray was doing and wanted to. He spoke out about it and then left and sold his shares. He said, because his shares are only going to be worth nothing in the years to come. And he said, we sent out surveys to people like nominate a bear or some pattern like that. Do you know what I mean? He says, and we were getting all these replies. He says, for people in America and people in Australia. He says, but there weren't people. It wasn't them. It was people. It was like Rangers fans just saying, "Oh, get in touch with them." But the guys weren't. I'm a bit of a Rangers fan. They weren't that bothered. He says, Celtic's a worldwide base. He says, in Ireland. He says, you go to Ireland, and what you said to us, even if a guy's a Liverpool fan or a Man United fan, they've still got an affiliation to Celtic.
Aye. And that was the thing you need to recommend somebody.
Aye, that was the thing.
They recommend somebody, and they were contacting them, and these people were like, who are you? What you wanting? I never asked for this. Aye.
That's a Rangers director that came out and said that. He says, no matter where they go in the world, He says, you go to the island, that's what happens. There maybe Liverpool fans, Man United fans, but they've still got that affiliation to Celtic, and they'll still step up to the plate for Celtic. He says, and it's the same all over the world, and Rangers just doesn't have that. Although they've got, you know what I mean, there's Rangers supporter clubs in Australia and America and Canada, it's nowhere in the kind of levels that Celtic has.
No, that's a good thing. See, you're talking about that. I know it's changed. You're talking about the step up in class. I was reading a book. Know that happens very often. For years ago, I remember the players used to be fucking working down the mines, and then they'd be away out playing for Celtic in the afternoon.
Aye.
And then you look at how you imagine you ask somebody to pull a shift, one of these players to pull a shift now, and go and play football. When I was looking at some of I can't remember what game it was, and you look at the amount of fans, about 100,000 at this game, and half the players have been out working in the morning doing the pits, and then they're going to play for Celtic in the afternoon. And I was reading a book. I think me and a couple of the boys that are on this forum are associated with the Black Watch up at our bit. We've got a wee youth team up there, and you're reading some of the history books, some of the boys that went for playing 21s fit, but going to represent Celtic or other teams.
Aye.
And you look at that now, there's no just Scottish football in general, there's no chance of that ever happening now. Kids have got to get right through these soccer schools or football academies, and then hopefully try and get
box ticking exercises and stuff like that.
Exactly. They don't. It's not as if. I don't know if it's because of the standards so big now or what it is, but they've all got to be in these football academies for a young age, and then get right through that, and then hopefully try and get games for Celtic, Rangers, whoever they want to be with. It's wild how it's changed.
Definitely nothing like that happens now. No. You know, I mean, maybe doing it the kind of lower leagues.
Aye, okay.
You know what I mean? Maybe like a team in the third division will take a punt on a guy for the amateurs and stuff like that. But
aye.
I mean, imagine Celtic came out and announced they'd sign somebody for Pollock Juniors. Do you know what Pollock Junior? Are they still even about or Auchinleck?
Aye. Pay some decent dough.
It was always they kind of Auchinleck, Talbot, and Pollock Juniors, wasn't it?
Aye. Yep.
But can you imagine Celtic? Can you imagine what Twitter would be like if Celtic signed somebody for there?
Fucking
the guy would never have a chance. We talk about we'll not give our own youth players a chance if they misplace a pass to get booed and tell, oh, you're no good enough, and the forums full of, oh, he's shite and things like that. Imagine signing somebody for that kind of level.
It'd be frightening.
Aye. Guy's life wouldn't be worth living, man.
Finished before they get started.
Finished before he took his tracky top off before the game.
Poor guy.
It's like, I can always remember, I used to sit at Celtic Park, man. I can always remember when Petrov came on to make his debut. And the fault, honestly, everybody was like, look at this fat bastard coming on, man. Look at the size of him, man. And then he went on to be a cracking, one of the best players I've seen for Celtic.
He did
Aye.
Was it, remember, we don't get played at right mid or something? He was
playing it right back, I'm sure it was.
Right back. And he was a centre mid, and I think he had a hellish first 6 months or 9 months or something. But I'm sure I read that he ended up befriending some guy at a burger van. That's how lonely he was.
Aye. But I can remember it. But see, like with Wim Jansen left as Henrik. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
Dr. Joe left as Lubo. Even the Doug Leash and fucking John Barnes debacle, that left as Petrov. So it was good. Do you know what I mean? So at least they'd done one good thing for us, but I can always meant that, man, because he just looked like a wee fat, daft wee boy when he came on that day.
Aye, I know. I've always had a soft spot for Stan.
Aye, cracking player, man. Honestly, what a player he was. And Matt O'Reilly kind of reminds me of him.
You're not the first person that's actually said that.
The actual way he plays the game and that. He keeps me in mind of Petrov.
And now he's getting in with the goals.
Aye. And if you've got a goal scoring midfielder, that's half the battle. That's worth 10 points a season if you've got that kind of player in midfield. You know what I mean? We could be struggling nothing each 90 minutes in your midfield. But what McGregor used to do when he was younger. I mean, how many goals, like, if you just out the edge of the area and that was McGregor scoring when he was younger? And that kind of got took away from him when he became a kind of double pivot with Scott Brown. I mean, McGregor, I think McGregor's all-round games dropped a bit for Scott Brown left.
You right? You think so?
It's hard to, I don't know how to put my finger on it. I just...
Is it because of Brown's legs? Brown used to get about that part, that nothing in there.
Is it maybe because Scott Brown was doing the defensive work?
Aye.
And McGregor could concentrate on doing other stuff that I don't know, but there's just something, again, just missing from McGregor's game for Scott Brown left. Maybe he thinks he needs to do the Scott Brown job rather than concentrating on doing the Cal McGregor job. It's like subconsciously, I'm the captain, I need to... I mean, he's learnt so much from Scott Brown. Don't kid yourself, do you know what I mean, about how to present yourself as a Celtic captain and carry yourself and stuff like that. But maybe subconsciously he thinks he needs to kind of try and do what he done on the park.
He trained himself so much in that position, though, Mark. He's probably able to untrain himself. I know that makes no sense, but he's been put in that holding midfielder role since obviously Lennon was there with Brown when everyone felt Brown was getting to the end of his time, and McGregor's been doing that for so long.
Yep.
He probably can't switch to go back to what McGregor used to do. Whether obviously there's legs and there's other aspects involved in it as well, but I would say that there's a large part of it is that he's gone from that advancing midfielder role to playing here so much. He feels the two guys in front of him can do that. I need to do this now. So I'd say it's just nearly a bit of a mindset, there's a bit of obviously age, body, legs. But I'd say it's just a case that he's nearly trained himself out of doing what he used to do. And he's got this one.
Scotland.
Maybe, true, good point. Obviously, with that Connolly, maybe I don't know then, Mark. I don't know why. It's a fair point. To be fair,
what about we're playing a different way though? When Brown was there, we're playing a bit more. The football's a bit quicker. And we don't go around. I love Brown in there. Would you have got a game under Ange? Would you have suited Ange?
No,
Brown was there. Do you think he would have suited Ange? No, I don't think he would have.
No,
I don't think he would have.
I mean, that was one of the things we did kind of say about Scott Brown, wasn't it? Towards the end of his time at Celtic, he did slow the play down.
Aye. You don't be that. At times, Brown never got the credit for being such a good footballer. I think everybody just thought he was one of these guys that smashed into tackles and that, but he was a good footballer.
Oh, definitely.
There's no denying it. And he had two decent feet on him. But he knew himself. His body he was slowing down and his body was getting there. But I don't think he was Ange's type of player. And I think we're playing a total different game of football for when Brown was there. So maybe that's how you see the difference in McGregor.
I mean, I'm a bit surprised that Rodgers hasn't tried even the 4-2-3-1 or that during games.
Well, if we go to players, I mean, it's all right wanting to play these. I thought that's the formation that he'd be wanting to play. But see, if you're playing that 4-2-3-1, I wouldn't be having Kyogo wouldn't be my one. I'd be having him one back.
He's your number 10 kind of thing. Aye, definitely.
And then I'd be looking for an out-and-out striker. That Dembele would be ideal. We've not got a Dembele now. I don't know if you would trust O to be playing there, to be banging in the goals. I don't know, but I think ideally that'd be the formation that I think we'd like to play.
So who would be your two?
Calmac. I wouldn't for his faults. I wouldn't drop Calmac.
Definitely no.
It would be Calmac. Jeez, now you've got me thinking.
Right now it's got to be O'Reilly.
I don't know if I'd move him one forward. I don't know.
If you move O'Reilly one forward, then that should take Kyogo, your number 10.
No, it's got to be. You can't, because you're not going to drop O'Reilly. The way he is, the news undroppable, and I wouldn't drop Calmac. So that's your two there right now. And then you've got, I would be playing Kyogo, the one in front of them. So you've only got right and left, and then it's a toss up between, who's it, Maeda, Palmer.
Then we'll see what Talio can do and stuff like that, who's there. But I don't think we're poor in the winger department.
No.
I mean, Abada's due to come back. And
No,
it's boring me talking about it, all this Palestinian stuff and that. Everybody knows where I stand on it and stuff like that. But I don't. Celtic fans shouldn't be todding in against Lil Abada for.
No, definitely.
You know what I mean?
No,
A lot of nonsense talk. See all that talk, Abada's time's up at Celtic? I'm not wearing that.
Nah, how long was Beat on there? 9-10 years? It never phased him. What's the script with the boy Bernardo then? You think he's getting punted in January?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Again, I just think it's getting him up to speed, and obviously, again, it's getting him game time.
No, you get him, Home, Awata, Bernardo. You're not going to please all these boys. McCarthy, he's got to go.
Oh, aye, he's out.
He's picking up.
He's only kind of meant to be on a kind of lowish basic wage, and there's a lot of performance stuff in that in his contract. But he'll still be getting. He'll still be
more
getting
than me and you.
No, he'll still be getting probably more than some of the first team young players in the first team.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Even if he's getting, I don't know, even if he's getting 15, 18 grand a week plus more money if he plays games in that's still more than some of the other players are getting.
15 grand a week for sitting in your ass. It's all right.
Mark, I'm going to leave you if that's okay.
No bother, Terence. I've got to wind up anyway. That's what's been on for 2 hours, bud. Thanks very much for coming, Terence.
Cheers, Jer. Talk to you later, boys.
Yourself, bud. No bother.
Be good. Bye. Bye.
But if we were saying,
You're on about McCarthy, the dog he was getting.
I mean, it's just the thing about it was people said, it was Brendan, it was thing with Dermot Desmond and all this kind of thing. I spoke to him. Do you know what I mean? It was agreed that he was coming in. I mean, I might be talking rubbish. It might be only 8 to 10 grand a week. But it's no on serious money as some people on the fucking internet and that's going on about. Do you know what I mean? But it's not worked out for me. I'm gutted about it because I like Jimmy Mack. Do you know what I mean?
Aye. We're all hoping for it to be a success.
It's a bit like big Irish centre back that came up and bombed. What was his name again?
I know the what? Duffy.
Aye, so that kind of thing. You want the players to do well for you, but it just didn't happen for one reason or another. But there's a lot of extra fat on the squad that needs to be trimmed.
100%. That's when you need a kind of half decent squad for the season. But if you think yourself, see if you get rid of the excess, that money that you've saved, I mean, you're better with quality than quantity.
Aye, I'm like a broken record with that, Jerry. I've not got a problem with the money Celtic spend. It's the way they spend it.
Aye. No, I agree. I've heard you before.
You know what I mean?
I agree with you. A wee bit extra
in the wage bill, that would make all the difference.
Aye, that's what the players are playing the game for. The trophies, but they're wanting paid first and foremost. So if you get a better wage, you've more chance you're attracting a better player.
Definitely, it's the way it's just fit biz now. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Players
it's a short career, mate.
Aye, and players are entitled to look for as much money as they can get.
Aye, we'd all be the same.
Exactly. And we'd all love to be Scott Bain sitting in our arse doing nothing for 5 years.
I think I could handle that gig not too bad.
Aye, it'd be all right, wouldn't it?
Aye. What do you think? What's happened with Seagrass, man? There must be something if he's not getting a game after or even near the squad.
Well, in the summer, he was wanting to move to Australia. Because his girlfriend, or I don't know if it's his wife or girlfriend's a kind of TikTok star or a social media influencer or something like that. No, but she's meant to be. She might even be stuff on the telly or something like that, Jerry. I'm not actually 100% sure, but she is like Well, probably making more money than him. She's that
Aye.
famous. She wanted to move to Australia, and he was meant to be negotiating with Celtic to get released for his contract, and just nothing happened. So
Fucking typical.
another pure weird one, wasn't
it? He's not the only keeper we could get shot about. The boy Hazard. Is he out on loan or is he away completely?
No, I think he's away completely, isn't he?
Aye. Nah, can you see him? He was like a vampire, man. He was scared across. He's a big boy like that. He was like Barkas and all. Two of them couldn't command their box. Now we've got a few that could go in the summer, mate, or even January to try and free up a bit of cash.
Aye, because it's money that's just going out the door for nothing.
It's not. I don't understand how a player could be not even getting a game and still be happy. I mean, you're not wanting bad vibes brought into the place. I mean, I would be pissed off if I was a player and I wasn't getting a game. I'd start mumping and moaning and throwing my toys at a pram. But I think that's just the way I am.
But as I said earlier on, Jerry, I want players to be like that.
Aye.
You don't want players that are happy just to be, do you know what I mean? Just that kind of, just I'll doss about here and keep my head down and hide out the road and that. Good night, John. Thanks very much for coming in, mate. Nice to see you again, bud.
Aye, no, I agree with you there, bud. I agree with you there.
Aye. As I say, Baines for me is just a perfect example. Sorry to keep going on about him, but he's just sat there for years. Do you know what I mean? Done the odd games, had a wee run in the team, but no matter when Baines been there, he always knows that the next step, just whether it's Craig Gordon, that's him back on the bench. And you can understand that for guys at maybe 34, 35.
Aye, at the end of their career, definitely. Aye.
You know what I mean?
Could take that. Aye, I could take that. We always said that, we wouldn't mind that if we'd that's one of these strikers.
A guy at 35-year-old, but still got a bit about him and happy to be still the chance of playing first team at a big club like Celtic. But
aye. But no want them coming, sitting on the bench, doing that, no interest. Aye, quite right. What about Jabber? Is he last at the night? Is he still there?
No, he'll be hiding in the toilet because we're talking about him now. Big shite bag no coming on.
I'll need to get him on.
Just drag him into the van one night, kidnap him.
I've done that a couple of times.
We don't want to know about that. We used to. Up the hills and having a windy walk together and that.
Aye, the wellies on looking for the sheep.
I don't know why you didn't come on.
You're there. I'll maybe need to get my couple of cans in and we'll come on.
Do you know what
he doesn't shut up when you're out with him.
Aye, but see when you're talking to him and that, he knows what he's talking about. I think he's just worried in case, I don't know, in case he gets mobbed with birds when he's out because he's famous after being on here, because it's tough at the top, Jerry. You better get used to it.
Oh, yeah. I'll get used to that.
I go to chapel on a Saturday, man. That's the only time I go out the house to go to chapel on a Saturday. And it's like the Beatles. So when the Beatles turn up, do you know what I mean?
I'll need to come with you.
All the groupies and that. All the wee Blue Ridge groupies at chapel and that.
Oh, what, man? Doesn't even think about me. He's supposed to be good. That's shocking.
Hey, I'll wind that up, Jerry, bud.
No bother, mate. It's been emotional. Thanks for having us.
Anytime, Jerry. Thanks very much for jumping in. Do you know what I mean? I really appreciate it, mate.
No bother. Thanks and cheers to everybody that's on the forum.
There you go, lads. Right, Jerry.
Thanks, guys. All the best.
Night, mate. Same to
Good
you,
night,
bud.
Mark.
Good
night, everyone.
Good night. Bye. Hey, thanks very much, everybody that listens in, joins in the chat. If you're listening back on Spotify or on YouTube, whatever, thanks very much. We really appreciate it. All the subs, all the people that join in, all the comments. Remember, the link to our forum and everything's in the description box. And I don't know if he's mentioned, we talk about live chats during the game. That's the forum's got a wee live chat that runs during the games. So you're all more than welcome to come in and join in that as well while Celtic's actually playing. I think that's it. So again, thanks very much, lads. Hail, good night, and God bless. Oh, wait, Martin. Martin, if you want to come on, mate, I'll put a link out, and all you do is click on that. All you need is a phone. It's nothing fancy. That's all you actually need, is just a phone, and you click on the link, and it brings you straight into the studio, and I put you through. It's really, really easy to do. Right, so anytime any of you want to come on, you're more than welcome as well. No hassles. It doesn't just need to be us guys like me and Jerry or Paul and Terence. Any of you are more than welcome. Right, so there we go, lads. Again, hail, good night, and God bless.